Can you tell me a little bit about what the audition and casting process was like for you?
Yeah. So basically, I was reached out to on Instagram actually, and it was actually for another show, and I got into the final rounds of it, but COVID happened and the pandemic happened, so all production had to be shut down in general for like 2 years. So once that happened, the casting director was like, hey, but we really do want to see you on TV, so we'll keep you in mind for another opportunity. And I was like, wow, gee, thanks. And then lo and behold, I had just broken up with my boyfriend at the time, and she presented me with this idea, and I was like, hell yeah, this is perfect timing. Maybe this was actually meant to be instead.
Cool. So the other one was
Yeah.
not a dating show then?
No, it was actually supposed to be about like Asian American entrepreneurs in New York City. So it
Cool.
was very different, still a very like power woman type vibe, which I'm really loving and was totally there for. But this was perfect timing in terms of me healing in my love journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So did you have an idea of who would be coming for you on the one that got away?
Okay, so obviously I had no idea about Dylan, for example, but then I was not surprised by some people like Steve, who, I had known for 10 years, and I had a crush on him, and I didn't know that he knew that, by the way, but I guess he did, and word got out. So I was pleasantly surprised when I saw him and some familiar faces. Wasn't surprised with um Vinny, but I was surprised that he was there. And then with Simon, I also was pleasantly surprised because it was just such a long time ago since we had seen each other. But again, very pleasantly surprised.
So do you like give a wish list of names, or is this just all on their part, them digging, or a combination of the two?
It's like a combination of scrubbing through our social media profiles, including Facebook, Instagram. I know my best friends were contacted also to be asked if there were any misconnections in the past.
Mhm.
I was always in a relationship, so like you might have known mutual friends or anything like that when we were hanging out. And then I was also able to provide a list just in case they couldn't find anyone else. I think I had like 50 people on it, for those who I thought may have been single and I might have had interest in the
Mhm.
past, or like a slight crush on or something like that.
Okay, cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I have to know, do you still live near Vinny, and is it awkward?
Oh my God. So like luckily, I don't know how many thousands of miles away LA is from New York, but I moved to LA
Okay.
last October. Thank God. No, I'm just kidding. Vinny's great.
To move away from Vinny. No.
Because of Vinny, I moved to a different state. No, I'm kidding. He's a character, and I think he was honestly most like the most genuine person I think that showed up for me anyway. So he was just like being himself, and I could see why he thought something might have been able to flourish, because we did hang out in a group setting before, in our building with mutual friends and stuff like that. So I could see why he wanted to explore that connection further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you two talked since airing, and you're all good, or?
I mean, hell no, no, definitely not. Like, I even tried to get his attention to see if we were cool. I like tagged him on Insta stories with our like cheese date.
Yeah.
I was like, if he reposts my story, that means he thinks we're cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
He just looked at it and didn't repost it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sad about this. So I don't think we're on speaking terms.
Okay.
But I hope he liked that he was portrayed in a funny way, is what I can hope for.
Yeah. So maybe it just needs some time. A little more time has to go by, and
Yeah, I think so. I hope so, because I didn't mean to be malicious in any way towards him at the date. It just didn't click. And like the way that I deal with things that don't work out is humor. So, I hope he sees it as that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, cheese is objectively funny,
Exactly.
For the cheese date.
Yeah, and it was just so funny to like, it was just easy to be lighthearted and funny about it because he's
Mhm.
just such a character. So it
Yeah.
like it really, I think it's funny. We all have those like dates, you know, that are not really clicking, and they're not terrible, but they're not great. So that's basically what it was.
Yep. I got it. Okay, let's talk about Dylan.
Okay.
So I watched a recent promo clip you did that was like 3 words that described Dylan. And it
Oh,
was tall, caring, and disingenuous.
oh God, yeah.
So why disingenuous?
So well, the show also portrayed this as well. So once the cameras were off, I could see that all the body language he had been giving me and the words that he'd been saying wasn't really exactly repeated or reiterated in any type of way when the cameras were off.
Mhm.
So you didn't really see much of this on camera, but he was very much a gentleman to me when the cameras were on. Like he would be holding my waist, like hugging it, offering me drinks, making sure that I was always taken care of, like a boyfriend would.
Mhm.
Um, in situations like putting a robe over me and stuff like that when I'm cold. But like when the cameras were off, it was just a totally different vibe. And I could just tell he might not have been genuine on the camera as he was off the camera. Like
Mhm.
we didn't hug. I don't know why he claims that he did hug me. But he actually like walked himself out of the my like whatever where I was staying that night, and that's what the show was showing, was us like kind of arguing at the end and just like him leaving. Um and yeah, it was unfortunate because it was really hurtful. I put my heart out on the line for him. I gave him a chance, even though I didn't remember him. And it's it was hard for me because I actually did fall for him. So it was really, really painful to see like such a dramatic change in behavior.
Mhm.
And you know, the one thing I can say about this is that you know, maybe the cameras made him uncomfortable and he felt like he wanted to really give it a shot when on camera, but like realistically, he may not move that fast, you know, in real life. So I think he was just trying to be honest with me, but it was hurtful for me because I was just being genuine the whole time and like really putting myself out there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the night that you were like, stay over and there were no cameras, did he say anything that indicated like, oh, I don't have real feelings, or was that just you interpreting like his body language or his behavior?
Yeah, so you know, he said things like, "Can you believe this experience? Like this is crazy. Like this is kind of ridiculous that they're like putting us in this situation. It's so fast, like blah blah blah."
Yeah.
And I could just tell like the tone of his voice wasn't loving. Like, you know, it was like very like a broed out experience where he was like talking to me like a homegirl rather than someone that he was actually dating.
Mhm.
So it was like the tone of his voice, the way that, you know, he really couldn't take this seriously, you know, all of this stuff. So I just knew from that moment like we were not on the same level as to where we were dating or whatever.
Mhm.
Um and it just didn't seem like it would ever work out even like in real life too. So because of this.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys had some ups and downs, you and Dylan,
We
definitely.
really did. Oh,
And
so
you
sad.
had that insightful comment that was like Dylan was maybe reminiscent of the guys you had gravitated towards previously, and
Yeah.
so maybe you were falling back in those old traps of going with what's comfortable. And then Simon comes in the picture,
Mhm.
and I can't help but wonder what would have happened if Simon came earlier. Do you think that would have changed things, or how do you think that would have affected the experience?
I think it would have been more trouble if Simon was like the second person that
Mhm.
came in because he's definitely a strong candidate for, you know, what I would be looking for in a future relationship. Um, you know, he has like his together. From what I could tell, he was being genuine. So I think it would have provided more challenges. And in the past, I've fallen for guys like Dylan because they were being a gentleman and they were doing all this like chivalrous things. And that would like put my blinders on and not have me be able to detect any red flags. And I'm just like, this is the guy. I should give him a chance because he's being nice. Right. But as soon as I, used to see red flags, I'd be like, it's okay. Not everyone's perfect. Like everyone deserves to be loved. Everyone gets to have many chances to fix their problems. And that kind of was what I was trying to say when, I said like he reminded me a lot of the old patterns that I used to fall into in previous relationships. And Simon was definitely a breath of fresh air. And I'm really happy he came through the portal. I wish it was a little earlier, but yeah, he saved the day.
Yeah. So I have to ask, can I have an update on you and Simon today?
Yeah. So fortunately, but not unfortunately, we're not currently dating, but we did try to make things happen after the show came out. So we were being genuine on that part. So I love that. It just didn't wind up working out because mostly distance reasons. He was going to move to California and I had plans to move to LA. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like we can get to know each other, like blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, I think because of family obligations on his end, he had to stay in New York. And I'm just like not a big believer in long distance relationships, especially when you're first starting out. It like just doesn't make sense to me. Like I need physical affection. I need to hug you. I need to see you. So for me, it was just, it was the wrong timing and we're just too far, but we're on good terms. When we see each other in different cities, we'll like get lunch or something. We'll do an occasional like photo shoot because like I have a really nice camera and I like to do that for people. So we'll kind of meet in that way, but overall it's very cordial.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you are on good terms at least.
Yeah, me too.
Good. So have you spoken to, not Vinny, have you spoken to Dylan since filming and are you on fine terms now?
Okay, so when the show first released, he reached out over text and definitely was happier about how he was portrayed. And like in my mind, I was like, really? Okay. So I'm like, cool. Like, let's just keep it cordial, whatever. But like as soon as I would like, I think I posted recently a social media post with Messy Bestie with our scene. I don't think he was happy about that. And he's like, why did you just post that? I was like, we both agreed to it. What do you mean? Like, it's just part of the show. It's already aired. It's public. It's not like I'm revealing anything else more. So I think like after that, maybe he wasn't my biggest fan, but right after it was like, okay. And then now it's kind of like, I think he's keeping his distance now.
Got it.
Yeah.
Maybe like Vinny, he just needs some time too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame them. So it's hard to be in this type of situation when so many emotions are like up and down and you're so focused with no distractions. Like it would make any completely sane person insane. So, I totally understand like where they're coming from. And I think it's very mature of them to need time to cool down as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So do you not have your phone or anything during filming?
No phone, no computer, no Wi-Fi.
Wow.
No clock. I mean, I had an alarm clock, but nobody knew about that. They put in my room and I was like, well, how come I'm the only one that has a clock? But like for the most part, nobody knew what time it was. We just saw the sun up and the sun go down. And that was pretty much it felt like ancient Roman times. Like it was crazy.
Oh, interesting. So what did you do all day in the house when you weren't like going on dates and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, usually we would just kick it back in the pool. I would always wake up the latest because my scenes were always shot like super early in the morning, like late in the night, like 4 a.m. to like 6 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like I would sleep in as much as possible, but they would also hang out by the pool around like 9 to 10 in the morning. So I'd miss that, but I'd always like make it around lunch. If that makes sense. So like around lunch, I got my 6 to 7 hours of sleep. And we would just kind of like hang out and chill, like tan in the pool, eat food. Um, I, I think we were able to have music like once on our off days, and we did some like TikTok dancers or something like that with the producers, and that was like super, super fun. So like let go and be out of the cameras at least like once a week. They did that. Yeah.
Fun.
Hmm.
So something else I really loved was your family episode where your dad and brother came.
Yes.
I'm just assuming that you wouldn't normally have those conversations about your love life, with your dad and brother on a normal basis. So I'm sure that led to just new parts of your relationship being explored. So how did that affect your family after that?
It was so beautiful to see that they even showed up for me. I think they support me from a distance. I'm talking about my dad and my brother. But like, as I was saying, like they never say, I'm proud of you, or I love you, or like you're doing amazing. Like they really show it through actions.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like such a huge gesture. I'm like crying, just like thinking about the moment. It was such a huge gesture for them to come out of the portal. And I was like, oh my God, this is so much better than all my dates. Like, bring all my dates back home. I just want to see my dad and my brother, Like, it was so beautiful to see. I like remember crying as soon as I saw them because it meant so much to me. Like, in that moment, they just said, I love you. I'm so proud of you. I support you, and it was so wonderful to see. And it made me feel comfortable opening up to them about my dating experience and my life there, which I've never been vulnerable to them ever like that. So it definitely, I'm able to talk about my dating life more, especially if there's, a serious person or someone I've been talking to for about a month or so. I know now that I can say these things to them, and the experience actually helped me see that I can turn to them.
Good.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It was so sweet.
Okay, I have one more question for you.
Sure, shoot.
So how has your life and how have you changed since filming The One That Got Away?
A lot. I had never been single before this show. I was single right before the show for about a year because I refused to see anyone for a year after such a long relationship. I wanted to make sure that I was healing myself first. And then it took about a year of healing, I think, to really put myself out there again. But having this experience dating again and even dating after the show, it really made me realize that I am a really strong, independent person. And that's something that makes me eternally happy. So I really have to love myself before finding someone else who can complement that. And, I might not have won with a man on the show, but, I won for myself. And I think that is the biggest love that I've ever found. And now it's like I'm taking care of myself. I pay all my bills. Like I do everything on my own. I moved across country by myself. Like I have no family here. I just did everything that I ever wanted to do in my life as soon as the relationship was over. And I think being single has made me realize that I can be happy on my own too. And if someone comes into my life, they better enhance it, be on the same level, and has to be very, mentally healthy too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Sounds like a really good experience overall.
Yeah, it was such an awesome learning experience. I could do it again, and I'm so glad I did it.